Hello, it's Iragis again. I have some light of happiness for you today. Light of happiness is very important. So, what limits you? What restrains you from learning who you actually are? Those are impossible promises. Yes, um, from childhood, no matter where you were born, in every country, people are being told that if they do A, they will receive B. And very often, for the whole life, people are doing something which was shown as a role model to them, awaiting some results in future, which were also promised by the society. But very often, almost always, the things which were promised to you for your good behavior during your lifetime never come true. So we are all being deceived and lied to at the end. So in order to be happy, you have to be very attentive. I mentioned it in previous video already. You have to be to start noticing the practical proofs of cause and effect rule. They call it analysis capability as well. So analysis meaning comparing different things in your mind, thinking if I do A, I'm promised to receive B, but did it fulfill in past? If not, why should I keep doing it? Maybe it will never fulfill. I know it sounds easy, but at the same time it's difficult to do in real life, especially when no one around you does it. Because unhappiness, let's be frank, let's be honest, unhappiness is common, not happiness. Pretending that you are happy doesn't mean you're happy. Do you know many happy people? I don't. So, in order to get other results than the majority of people do, you have to do other things than the majority of people do. It reminds me the lessons of physics in my school, where in order to do homework, I had to use some certain charts of with some numbers. I was never good at physics, but I remember clearly that the charts were needed, but teacher didn't mention that the charts would be needed. And my father is a scientist, and he's a mathematician, and also studied physics. So when I asked him to help me, he told me it's impossible. It was impossible to do that homework without the charts. So I started crying and disagreeing and being very angry that how dare the teacher give students the homework without mentioning that a certain chart would have been needed, and without the chart it was impossible to solve that task. And my father told me, do you want to do the homework or not? If you want to do it, you have to use the chart. If not, then no. So you decide. Either you don't do the homework, explaining it to the teacher tomorrow that you didn't do it because you didn't have the full information mentioned, or you just open up that bloody page with that bloody chart, and I'll show you now how to do the homework. The same thing applies with happiness. The fact that almost no one is doing what leads to happiness doesn't change the rule. The rule that in order to go there, you have to do certain things, even if no one is doing them, or not many people are doing them. So, what I recommend in my courses is an exercise, which would be imagining that everything you were promised is impossible to be fulfilled. I mean, all those common rules, I mean, common expectations from the place where you live, from people. I know it's not easy, that's why it takes several hours for this very training. But to put it short, if you can imagine it, you can do it. Try to remember what you were promised as a child. So if you do this, you will be rewarded with this. If you do this, you will be rewarded with this. If you behave like this in society, you will be given this. And compare with people whom you know, how many of them actually got what they were promised. So if they didn't get what they were promised for good behavior, naughty or nice, from Santa Claus, scale of possible behaviors and corresponding rewards or punishments. So if they didn't get what they were promised and they were trying hard all their lives, then most likely you will not get it as well if you continue doing something which those people you know were doing and never got what they were promised. So this is the exercise of imagining that everything you were promised for good behavior, meaning limiting your behavior, everything is impossible to be fulfilled. How free would you have felt suddenly? As if you were not limited anymore by those false expectations of non-existent rewards for your self-limiting, restrained behavior. It's a very deep subject, and if you only manage to do this exercise, it will be a huge step towards your maybe not everlasting happiness, but significant part of everyday happiness foundation will be set.